Welcome to ELR Dockets session. So this one session is required session. So let's start our session here. Dockets. So what is docket? And so the docket, in simple term, is a history of a case. So we are not just talking about the history of. We are not talking about the history of how a case goes through the different court level. That's what people call a pattern history. Here we are talking about how the history of one single case in one single court. So what happened in that case, in that court. And that's a docket. So think about what is covered in the docket. So I will not force you to take another 2 minutes to think. Here is the answer. We have different informations here. The judge in that case. And the parties involved, aka plaintiff and defendant. And we also got the both parties' attorneys involved and all the events of the case. So normally, those first three categories, they are not so important. Well, for some like researchers, they want to find out, well, this judge involved in this case, etc. Or that attorney involved in that case. Well, it works for those purposes. But in general, we are interested in the event of the case, aka what happened in this case. We are not just solely interested in who involved in this case. We want to learn what happened in this case, right? So what do you think you might use docket as a useful tool for practicing law? And again, I will skip these 2 minutes here. The reason you want to run the dockets here is for one, it serves for a model when drafting documents. So why you can use that as a model? Because the event here is at least all the history of a case, what happened in this case, aka all the writing materials that are associated to this case, not just the ultimate decision issued by the court. Beyond of that, you have, for example, the parties filed pleadings, such as the answers, petitions, motions, and counter motions, etc. And of course, it also covers the judge's orders to all the motions, denied, granted, etc. So those writing could be the good writing sample at some point, because you can imagine some of the attorneys, they can be really good when you start to work on some case, but you don't know too much about the in that type of case, you want to get some good writing samples. So why not to check some excellent attorneys' existing writing sample? And of course, you got to make some essential change, but you can use that as a start point for your own writing, right? Second, you can use those dockets as a very good tool to strategize during a similar case, aka you are stealing wisdom from another person's practice. So you first time get this type of case, you don't know the potential, you don't know what is a good argument, or build up a good argument, or potential case winning argument, or the claims. Here is some you can get some insight from another person's cases, as long as these two cases are very similar between your client's issue and the docket you found. And third, it helps you to understand the judge's trends in type of argument. So in the past, how you can tell, well, this judge is leaned to on this certain legal issue, they lean onto this side, let's say conservative or liberal, so liberal approach. So in the past, you have to make such very subjective decisions based on experiences. So let's say you practice law in one area for like 20 years. You've been working with the same judge quite often, so no, the judge is like bent on certain issue, right? And right now, if you can find the dockets, well, let's say you don't have to guess. You just you just got the exact finding of the judge's like tendency. Of course, you have to examine a lot of dockets, not just one or two, right? We have some other tools which we'll cover in another session, which is called litigation analytic about how to find those trends, but it helps you to find some more like objective evidence to make such decisions instead of just making the very subjective speculation on your own mind to tell other people yourself whether the judge how the judge tendency were inclined to certain side of the legal issue. And last, it helps you to understand the opponent's likely strategy, aka you are trying to find out the opponent counsels if they have already involved in certain type of cases, very similar to your case right now. Well, by checking that previous case to check what kinds of argument that opposing counsel made in the past. So it helps you to understand what they are going to raise in your case, right? So again, you are trying to use the history of previous case to help you to gain some insight or prepare for a case in your current case. So we are using the history to predict the future or help you to prepare for the future. So again, it can be helpful, and we have some other tools to help you to do even more in-depth of research in that part. That's litigation analytic. But for the dockets, aka finding those motions, pleadings, court orders in one case, that's our goal for this session. Right. So start with the federal dockets, because again, first, dockets, they are public records by default, right? So because the idea is courts are people's courts. They are not just one person's courts. They are your courts. They are everybody's courts, right? So as a citizen here, you got the right to know what is happening in one case, and you got to know what is happening in one court, right? So in that case, what are people involved? That's judge, attorney, and parties, and you got the right to know what happened in that case, right? That's all the filings to that court, right? Including all the pleadings, etc. And in regarding the evidence, well, especially for the tangible evidence, they are not available they are not for the public records, because it's impossible for the court to post many many emails or many photographs online. So the dockets here is only limited to those information. So it's your right to access those information because they are public records. So you got to know where to find them. And here for the federal court, they have the public access to court electronic record system, which is called PACER, so abbreviation as PACER. So this is a federal mandatory e-filing system for all the attorneys in every level of courts. So for attorneys, it's mandatory because the ultimate goal is to make everything available online, right, as docket search. So the prerequisite for the docket is e-filing. So PACER is also the e-filing system for attorneys. So it can make sure that e-filing, because everything is filed electronically, so the court clerk or any of the staff, they don't have to scan, write a print material and then give it an order, give it a name, give it a timestamp, and then put it in the PACER. So the e-filing makes the electronic retrievable docket possible. And in the federal level, for attorneys, e-filing is mandatory. And we have the very good system, which is called PACER. So it's not free. The cost is minimal, and I believe the cost is 7 to 20 cents per page. So as long as you don't just download the documents from PACER in bulk, like thousands of pages, the cost is totally reasonable, right? And before we have such an electronic filing system or the electronic docket searching system, when you want to get the dockets, you have to go to the old-fashioned way, aka go to the court, or give a phone call to the court, or send a mail, like a physical mail to the court. and saying, well, you want to get a certain documentations from case A, B, C, D, and that document is X, Y, Z, and then here is a check. And of course, you want to give the court an exact number of money for the dollar amount for the cost of that dockets. And then when the court process that docket, and then they will send it to you, right? Or you can pick it up in the courtroom. This is how the old-fashioned way, how you get the dockets. Right now, we even have the docket searching system. You don't have to do it. Everything is available online, right? So this is how the pacer looks like. This is old screenshot pacer right now. It has a better user, at least the home page, login page. Its core is still very old, alas. And you have to create your personal account first. But the good part is Pacer, they have a free exercising demo site. So with this site, you can click this page, and it covers half of years. Half of years of New York Western District in 2007. So half a years of dockets, and you can take it like a test. So this, by the way, looks like exactly like the Pacer real website, and after logging. And this is how it looks like after logging, right? So you got queries, you got reports. So normally we will start by searching for queries. Here you can run some very generic search. Yes, here we got the 10 cents for one page. So the generic search here is you can search for different information based on what you have. And of course, the best way to search is if you got a case number. That's the best way to run the search, because that case number is unique, at least in the federal level, right? So that if you got the case number, bingo, you got it. If you don't have the case number, you just have to feed the system as much information as you have. For example, here we got the we are looking for a case. It's USA versus Gordon, right? Excuse me. If all you have is the party's name, so you put it here, Gordon, Joseph, and Gordon, and if you want, you can put another. I guess that's all we have, just party name, right? We can run the query, and then we can find the search result. Of course, our search pool has only half years of cases, but here you can still find the case, right? USA versus Gordon, and we open it. Here is a docket, and here you can find here is a case number, right? So this is the identification number for this case, and here we got the party's name, we got the date of filing, and date determination. And you can find alias, and most of the things they're just finding the people associated with this case. But you can find the case summary, right? Here in the case summary, you can find its timeline, general timeline, and you can find the case citation. Well, because this is a federal court, right? This case citation tells you which federal statute the offense is. Here, the 21 is the U.S. Code chapter number, and here the 841A is the section number. So it tells you which federal statute section this offense is on, right? So it's the controlled substances. If you check the federal statute, I'm sure this is chapter 21, section 841A. And if you want to find out the documents, you want to go to docket reports. And here, every search will cost you some money, right? But the real money will cost it here. When you can find all the documents, if you want to download them, well, this is part of where the 10 cents per page cost really arise. But here, let's check at the very beginning. You can find all the information about this case. Again, dockets, the case number, and filing date and date termination, the parties, and the offenses, summary of the offenses and party's name and the attorney's name, right? And here, for each of the documents filed to the court, they will be labeled they will be labeled by their timeline, based on the chronological order when they were filed to the court. And so the earliest document filed to the court will be labeled number 1, and it will give you a brief summary. What is it? And then etc. number 2, number 3, etc. Right? You see some of the documents, they are not available here, which is fine because not every. So right now, most of the dockets should be available to the general public. Some of the dockets or the documents, they are sealed by the court by motion. For example, some of the motions they want to some party, they may file a motion based on the civil procedure rule. Well, if for example their name is available to the general public, if certain documents is available to the general public, well, that it will pose certain like imminent danger to that person's like physical safety, etc. So based on motion, certain dockets can be sued, or even entire case dockets can be sued, or in the federal court level, the deportation for in the immigration courts, the deportation dockets. The case about a deportation will never be available to the general public. They are exempted from the public records, right? So this is why you see some of the numbers, they are not so consistent, right? There's some gap here, but it's fine. So your goal is to find which of the dockets may help you, right? For example, you are looking for complaint, or you are looking for the motion. Well, you can open it and then start to read, right? So you see, it tells you it has 14 pages, and of course our cost here is totally free, and it may get an estimated cost, and then if you have to get your like credit card number type of thing, and then when you view the docket, it will like you can send. Well, your card will be charged, and then you get this docket and you can start to view, right? So you get all the information, and you see the complaint, and you will see the affidavit from the police officer, etc. Right? And here is how you find one copy of it, right? Dockets. And again, you got to decide what kinds of dockets you need first, and then this place will actually help you. And let's go back to our previous slide. For the Supreme Court, well, even better. For the Supreme Court, everything is available for free because that Supreme Court is super important. And by the way, all the Supreme Court dockets, they are available online, and most of them they are available. So they are not like sealed by some weird information. So for example, we can find this place, and then you can start the case search. Of course, this place only give you the option by searching the case number. So if you don't know the case number, just run some like Google search based on the party's name. You can find some case number, and once you get that case number, you can put it here, right? So this is a case in last year, and we know this is a very famous case. Not last year, in 2020, very famous case. You can find quite similar to Pacer, right? So we got the court orders, all the dockets, they are ordered by the original timeline, and then the earliest one will be on the very top, and then you got each dockets, they are openable. So for example, if we open it, so you can see this is typical Supreme Court format, right? And at the very bottom, you can find the automated decision. So here is automated decision, and it's published here in this case, right? And in this opinion, here you got all the parties involved in this case, including all the people who filed the amicus curiae, right? And yes, so for the Supreme Court case docket search, you don't have to use Pacer. Just go to the Supreme Court this page, and then you can find them. And for Bloomberg Law, well, here is a Bloomberg Law. You can go to the we have the access to Bloomberg Law, right? And this is a major point for us to when you are in law school to search for cases, because for one, it covers all the federal statute, federal docket search. Also, it covers the state dockets. For two, it's totally for free as long as you do not meet that very high cap. There's a cap for the Bloomberg Law docket search, but it's very rare that you can ever reach that cap. So this is old page, old user interface of Bloomberg Law. I believe they have a newer one. It looks like this. So we can make the change here by making the switch. So you can get your dockets here. I already saved my docket here. If you cannot find the dockets here, you can find the dockets here, right? Docket search. And once you are in the docket, just like the pacer, if you know, for example, the docket number, aka the case number, copy and paste it here. That's the best way for you to find the case. Sometimes the same docket number you may find the multiple cases with the same docket number, because in the federal court and in the different state courts, they may have the same they may have some coincidence, right? The state court and the federal court, they may name the different case with the same docket number. That happens, but then you just identify the good case that you want to find, and that's the best way to find the case, right? If not, well, just like pacer, feed the machine with as much information as you can. Some keywords, good. Courts, well, also good. And party's name, also good. Judge's name, good. If you know the specific timeline, well, also good. Or if you know how the case was decided, well, also good. So feed the machines as much information as you can if you don't know the docket number, right? So for example, in this case, we have we just read on legal news here, right? It's Pfizer BioNTech about the infringement of COVID-19 vaccine, right? So let's say you just read this article and then you are interested about this case. You want to find the docket about this case. And I believe there's no case number here in this case, right? So if that's all you have, right? You got some keywords here at least, right? Patent, vaccine, and the party name. So let's say we got the party here, BioNTech, right? And let's go back to Bloomberg Law. And we got at least one party's name, BioNTech. If you have any other parties, let's say Pfizer, you can also put it here. So make sure that you are searching for all of these parties, not just any of these parties. It's like and, right? We still got like 18 cases. It's still a little bit more, but you can run the search, right? What I want to do is I want to find something more. So I know the timeline here is 2020, right? So I know the timeline. Let's find the timeline. Let's find the time range, right? In 2020 to 2020 and I have to do it this way. Oh, what I'm doing. So here is a 2021. Okay. And to the last day of 1 year. So we got only one case. If you want, you can actually put some other cases here, other keywords here, like vaccine, like patent. And also, I believe this case comes from federal district court. And you know, this comes from, because it is a patent issue, right? Federal law issue. And also, I know by reading this paragraph, I know this case is filed in the federal court in California. You can also limit it by the federal court, district court, etc. And then still you got one case. Use whatever way you find this one case. Once you open it, so you'll find very similar information because this information directly comes from pacer. So Bloomberg Law pulled the federal docket from pacer. and then it's posted here, right? So we got the same thing, like the dockets number, and we got the court information. And here you got the just like Pacer, you got the federal statute of offenses here, or the issue here, chapter number and the section number, right? That's a patent infringement. And here you can see all the parties here and their the attorney representing for each of the party, right? And you can also find the timeline of this case. So it take how much date? So 457 days. So it tells you, give you an expectation if you check the previous case, right? Well, it takes this court or this judge such a long time to end this case. Well, we can give you some insight how what can you expect for the case in your hand. And here we can find a docket. We call this docket sheet, right? This is a docket like an index which lists all the documents based on their number, based on their chronological order, 1, 2, 3, 4, until the last one. So let's check how many dockets we have. So we have, yes, 108 dockets, very many of, right? So see, for each of docket, they have the time label, and they have the PDF. You can request them by PDF. You see, for the PDF, they have two different status. One status is view, one status is request, right? So before you even pull anything, the first thing when you want to use Bloomberg Law is to do such kind of thing by clicking this update the dockets. So by clicking here, you will get the notice. Well, you have 1,500 cap. So you can just neglect that. When you're in law school, the law school pay for that, and you will never reach that cap unless you download the dockets systematically in bulk, like 1,000 of them. So just hit accept, and then my docket is updated successfully. So you'll see this docket was last updated in March 25, right? Let's refresh this page. Now this docket is updated today, right? And once we update this docket, we want to make sure why it matters, because only you make sure that this docket is updated. This docket sheet will update it. This index will be updated, right? So this why is important. Now let's check the different status of PDF. You see the view status and the request status, they are different. What's the difference? So if anyone in the rest of the world, they have requested this document, let's say the complaint before, well, the Pacer will pull it from, the Bloomberg Law will pull it from Pacer, and then this document will be saved in Bloomberg Law server. So after that, anybody who want to review these dockets do not have to make the request or use your quota, annual quota. You can just review it here. Let me open it here, and it's PDF, downloadable PDF, right? And a full complaint, right? So you can just read it and find the key information that help you. If you are looking for something that has never been, excuse me, that has never been requested by anybody else, you will be the first one to make such request. Such request will cost you the quota. So again, that 1,500 quota, but you can just neglect it again. Just hit accept, and soon you can see this your request has been submitted. And once your request is processed, you will receive a notice. I will show you that notice very soon, right? And here I got the notice, right? Here, let me open it. Yes, here I just request. Here is how you just requested this dockets, right? And also you will receive this documents from this email from Bloomberg Law to tell you well this docket has been processed. So if you refresh this page for the docket number 3, I believe I remember right. So docket number 3. which one did I review? I believe it's number 3. Give it some time, it will be updated, right? It's number 4 or number 3, I forgot. But give it some time, it will be updated here, where you can just open the link that you have, right? So it will also send you a copy, like email copy with this information here. It's entry 3, right? So whatever way you get that copy, right? And it will based first, of course, you got to read this brief summary here, and then decide which documents you want, right? And then click the button, and then make the request, and then it will get it here. If you are tracking a pending case, but you want to keep you updated with the new dockets, so that you don't have to go to this place or this page every day to do the manual check, you can set on the docket updates. So by set up this docket update, whenever there's a new docket or document added to this case, you will get a notice in your email, so you don't have to like manually check this page every day, right? So you can hit click, you can hit accept, and then you can expect to receive anything new. And of course, it takes your quota, but again, you can just ignore it because you'll never reach that cap in most of the case. So that's Bloomberg law, right? Feed the machine as much information as you can, or if you got the docket number, well, give it the docket number. Well, for the case, for the exercise, let's skip the exercise, right? And we can just work on the ultimate assessment is quite straightforward. And how about Best Law and Lexis? Well, they do have docket search, and but for our subscriptions, those features are out of our subscription. So even if you can find, yes, Best Law and Lexis, they do have docket, and you can actually run the search, but none of the documents, they are openable. Or even if you can open one of the case, they only give you a like docket index, but not any openable documentations. So useless, right? But again, we have Bloomberg law. So while you were in law school, so no worry. And the last one is for Texas. Well, for the state of Texas, we have, because again, this is a very luxury of the larger state. We have Texas, we call it TAMIS, right? It's a Texas Appellate Management E-Filing System. So in Texas Appellate Court and the two highest court, e-filing for attorneys is mandatory. For pro se's, it's not mandatory. You cannot expect my grandma who wants to represent herself to use the e-filing system. So for those pro se's, print filing is still optional, but for the attorneys, e-filing is mandatory. But solely worked for the e-filing for the appellate court, but not for the trial court, because we know in Texas we have so many trial court. So it's quite difficult for us to get the trial court. We have some like fee-based trial court docket searching systems, but not so sophisticated, and they are super expensive right now. So but at least for the appellate court level, everything is available for free. But this system is only available for us for in the past few years. For the very old dockets, let's say the dockets in the early, not that old, in the 2000, probably you cannot find them. Not mention the dockets in like mid of 1950s. Surely you cannot find them here. So in that case, go with the old-fashioned way by contact the court clerk, give them a phone call, etc., so that you can make the arrangement. But here you can go to this place, TAMIS. So it covers the court of appeal system, and because again, e-filing is mandatory. This is why the electronic docket retrieval system is possible, right? So let's find it here. This is TAMIS, and here you can run two types of searches here. One search is case search, based on the specific information that you have, like a case number, like a party's name, like a filing date, like a attorney's name. If you don't have such kinds of identifiable information, aka you just have some keywords in your hand, well, run the keyword. But preferably you got to find the specific jurisdiction, right? So let's say I want to have a capital punishment. So I want to get a starting from the first date of the last year and till today, and I want to only find, I may know it comes from criminal court of appeals, criminal appeals of taxes, right? So we find many cases. Let's say you are looking for, it looks like many of them actually come from the same case by checking the case number, right? So this is how you find it if it only carries the keywords, right? So you can see it gives you some like examples of the keyword search, not so like identical to the keyword search like Westlaw and Lex like Boolean search terms, but it still works. If you want, you can add some like A and B, A or B type of thing. But here, capital punishment is a phrase that I use, and we see many cases here, and of course it's because we only give it like 1 year period of time. Let's say this case is what you need, and you can find case number here. This is a case number, and you can find the party's name. Of course, this is party versus a state, and of course, and you can see the appellate brief. So this is the latest event of this case, and of course, you can find them here. They are openable. Every documents here, they are openable because of the, again, e-filing, right? So you read them and then identify the key information, right? And excuse me. At the bottom, you can find the parties here, and you can also find the court of appeal information, and also you can find the court of because this is a penalty case, a death penalty case, so it directly goes from the trial court to the court of appeal, to the criminal appeals of Texas, right? It just bypass all the court of appeal, and you can find the information in the trial court. So the trial court dockets, trial court case number is here. So with this case number, you can go to the 5th district to request the case docket with this number, right? And this is how we use templates. So if you know something other than the dockets, other than the keywords, let's say we know the attorney's name, let's say Mark Lanier, our famous alarm, and then we give a timeline. If you know anything else, we want to check what happened to what case Mark Lanier got in the last year, in the second half of the last year, let's say. So we run the search and we see, well, that's not in the criminal appeal. Let's say in all the court, right? We know Mark Lanier is not a criminal attorney. So we find all the court, appellate court in Texas in the last half year with a attorney Mark Lanier involved. So we got several cases, and let's say we want to find the latest case. Let's say this is the case we want, and here of course we got the case number, filing date, party's name, and case type, mandamus, and we also got the trial court documentations, right? Which is fantastic. We open this case, and here we got all of this information already, and we get, if you want to read the brief, here is briefs, right? Here is even more detailed case events, right? Here it looks like this case is still open, I believe, because here we got the reply to response is filed. So that's a reply, and then we got a motion for leave disposed, and it's also granted, right? So that's the event of this case, and we got the party's name and the attorneys, and then we got the trial court information. Again, trial court case number. If you want to go find the trial court case dockets with this number, you can contact the 71st district to get the information, right? So that's all we have, and it's quite straightforward, but you got to understand what type of information you want to get from the dockets, and then you just go to the right place and use the proper tool to find the dockets actually.